Welcome to KMET 1490 AM ABC News Radio and the Southern California Business Report with Yvette Walker, a show dedicated to highlighting successful Southern California businesses and the people behind them.
Welcome and thank you for joining Southern California Business Report on ABC News and Talks, KMET 1490 AM, 98.1 FM, and KMET TV. I'm Yvette Walker, live blasting our signal from the center of Southern California, serving a population of over 25 million. Get us crystal clear and on demand by downloading the free live streaming app on Google Play and the Apple App Store. As always, a huge shout out to the team, Mitch, Bill, and Sean. I love you guys. And to our special advisory committee that can be found at www.scbrtalk.com/advisory committee. Click on the link and learn about these incredible leaders doing the work. Okay, everybody, today I am extremely honored to introduce Dr. Lisa Warren, who has led an extensive leadership career over the last 20 years in academic medicine, executive administration, and exemplary clinical care to the community. She is the incoming Western University of Health Sciences Dean for Comp and Comp Northwest starting July 1st, 2024. She currently serves as the Assistant Dean for Graduate Medical Education and Chair of Pediatrics at Western University. Mr. John Chapman, President and Chief Executive Officer, was appointed as the CEO in May of 2020 and became president in October of 2020. He is a microbiologist by training and previously served as Chief Operations Administrative Officer at Highland Hospital in Oakland, California. He also led the clinical and support services for Alameda Health System in Northern California. Thank you both for being with us here today.
Thank you.
Thanks, Yvette.
So, as you both know, my first question to all of my guests is to please talk about what inspired you to each pursue the career path you're on today. Dr. Warren, let's start with you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Yvette. Well, in it's always just reflecting back at your story. So at heart, I'm a pediatrician, a clinician. I grew up in a family of healthcare providers. My dad's a pediatrician in the Corona area. And so with that, you just have this influence internally from home. But with it, I did my undergraduate or my medical school at Western University of Health Science. And when I went through the curriculum and rotations, pediatrics was my best fit. I love serving. I love the pediatric population, and with that, it was just very natural being right in center with the families and caring for them in their most vulnerable as well as exciting moments. And I did my training in Texas at Scott and White, and during that time, I quickly just immersed myself into leadership positions. I led the residency program there as residency program director and really was influential in the pediatric department. And then my husband and I moved back here to Southern California with our families, since all our family is here. And I joined WesternU as faculty. And, each time everybody's experience is different. But, for me, I love leading teams. I love being able to give and serve where my talents are really best served for my clients, which for WesternU is our students and our GME partners. And so with that, I took on the chair of PEDS and then led the GME as Assistant Dean of Graduate Medical Education.
Wow. So
really helping. So with it comes just loving to lead, loving to serve in every talent and skill that I have.
Perfect. So John, please share what inspired you to take on the position of the 7th CEO for San Antonio Regional Hospital.
Well, today I love mentoring and coaching, and I think everybody in their career has had a wonderful mentor or coach that really made a difference in your lives, right? So I can go back to high school to pinpoint it. I joined a group called Enterprise, an after-school medical society group, to see what that was like. And they actually hooked me up with a cardiovascular surgeon. I still remember his name, Dr. McInerney at Kaiser in San Francisco. And I saw over 150 open heart surgeries. And wow. I didn't become a cardiovascular surgeon, but I definitely got wedded to the idea of helping patients. So That I would say would be the introduction to why I picked healthcare as a career.
Wow, that's impressive. 150 cardiovascular procedures, open heart surgeries.
Yes, and I sat down during the first one.
Oh my goodness, I can imagine. Wow. Oh my goodness. Dr. Warren, please talk about Western University Health Sciences curriculum and the areas of medical professional studies that are offered there.
Yeah, so WesternU, Western University of Health Sciences, has 8 colleges. We have our osteopathic medicine, which is what I'm dean of, and we have our podiatry, optometry, dentistry, vet med, nursing, physical therapy, pharmacy. And so we have all these health professions, and with it really provides an opportunity not only for just within our own colleges to help serve and train our individual students into their health professions, but also be able to have a collaborative, shared experience through interprofessional education and training. And so under the College of Osteopathic Medicine, we have about 225 students each year. And through it, through their first 2 years are in the classroom, and they're learning all the elements of medicine, the language, the sciences, the organ systems. In addition, they have hands-on skills, and that comes through our standardized patient, our simulation, our curriculum that way. And then distinctly, we are also an osteopathic medical school. And so with that, through the osteopathic tenets, which is really the body as a unit and holistic approach to patient care, we also train our students or hands-on techniques, so osteopathic manipulative techniques. So they learn a lot of that during their first 2 years, and then the second 2 years, so in their third and fourth year, they go off onto clinical rotations. And during those rotations, they are rotating at within different disciplines. So, for example, in their third year, pediatrics and obstetrics and gynecology, surgery, family medicine, internal medicine, and psychiatry, and our osteopathic course as well. And so with that, they gain skills and understanding of what to do or learn, see medicine in application, as well as also identify what fits for them. It's a place to build mentorship, do scholarly work, but really also take all what they've learned in the classroom and be able to apply that into patient care.
Terrific. John, I also understand San Antonio Regional Hospital is providing complete health care for patients, including the Care for You clinics and urgent care facilities. Please talk about those benefits to the patients and the hospital.
Sure. There's something called a community health needs assessment event that's performed every 2 years in our region, most regions. And we actually target what those gaps are for our community. And this is one of the reasons we're moving forward with a residency program with Western University. You'll hear more about that. But acute care, we do well. But where the gaps in the community are pre and post. And the pre is having family medicine or providers that a discharged patient could see within 48 to 72 hours after discharge. That doesn't happen. Rarely does it happen here because of just the dearth of primary care physicians. And on the back end, being able to have case managers and caregivers who can take care of patients who perhaps don't have family that can, but still needs to be seen in skilled nursing facilities, acute rehab, and there's chronic shortages of those types of beds. Mm-hmm. So we decided we're going to try to cover the gamut, the breadth of healthcare for our community.
So, Dr. Warren, talking about the residency and what it is that you are forging together alongside San Antonio Regional Hospital, please talk about the benefits for students who participate and engage with this program.
Yeah, thank you. So, the majority of our students are from California. We have I went to go look this up, about 85% of our students are from California. And so that's a large percentage. Often we like to stay home near families for support systems. So that's, it's important. Plus, it's their community where there were reasons why they chose medicine. probably from mentors, supports, personal experiences, whatever it may be. And so in that too, they want to turn around and give back. So we have a large percentage of our student bodies from California. Second is we have a large percentage of our graduates who go into primary care. About 55% of them go into primary care, and that includes, in that categorization is pediatrics, family medicine, internal medicine. And I pulled the number from internal medicine. 26% of our students this year are going into internal medicine residency. So we have a large cohort of our students, and that's almost 60 students in this group who are doing internal medicine. It's valuable in knowing, there's only so many training spots in the region, and so to be able to create and build a partnership, a relationship with San Antonio in the building and the implementation of this training program will offer an opportunity for our graduates to be able to train at an excellent facility and then be able to give back to the community that they're from.
Right. And so that also goes back to John and a lot of the other workforce development pipelines that are being created. John, can you please talk a little bit about the HCI program and workforce development efforts being conducted alongside San Antonio Regional Hospital as well?
Sure. I think what I've learned being in this community for several years is a lot of the talent leaves San Bernardino County and the Inland Empire. Our goal is to find talent, develop them, and keep them here. So we're looking at all levels, starting with Dr. Warren. I just said there's a dearth of primary care providers. Just in the western end, it's estimated that we're short 83 primary care providers. I have 4 urgent cares that I run in our community. And we actually take a survey and ask, do you have a primary care provider? And the average age of these individuals are in their mid-30s. 36% said they don't. Then we asked, have you ever seen your primary care provider? Over 60% said they haven't. So what does that tell you? It tells you unavailability. So we decided to create the San Antonio Regional Medical Group. We've opened 2 sites, one here in Upland, one in Fontana, soon one in Ontario, and we want to satellite to over a dozen. And it's going to be this residency program that helps us do it. At the same time, there's more than just providers. There's nurses, there's clinical microbiologists, there's EVS workers. So we have pipelines. We have over 13 pipelines today with universities, junior colleges, and high schools to have students develop in training programs here at San Antonio Regional Hospital, and we retain them. As in one last example, we took over 85 new grad RNs out of 3 schools, and we've had 2 leave in the last 24 months. So we're very proud of keeping talent in the community that's going to help the community.
Wow, that's impressive.
Now, in
Dr.
terms of HCI, so I should get back to your question.
Oh, yes.
HCI is specific for our high school programs. So I mentioned that program where I was with a cardiovascular surgeon. I said, we've got to have something similar here because most high schools training in healthcare used to consist of sitting down and, talking to a doctor, watching a clinic patient, hearing a video. We've actually placed over, 35 students with cardiovascular surgeons, orthopedic surgeons. They see all type of surgeries. We put them in our cath labs and they graduate with certification. It's become so popular that the county has given us funding for $160,000 to take this idea they think I created when I really had it when I was a kid and develop it over hospitals nearby. So our goal is 5 or 6 hospitals to have the same program. These kids then have the experience I had. I want to be in healthcare, and that's what we want.
Wow, that's remarkable. Dr. Warren, please talk about the current primary physicians professionals gap from an educational standpoint and how this residency program will assist in closing the gap and address the community's needs.
Yeah, I mean, I think it aligns a lot of what John just spoke of. In it is we're aware we have an aging population, shortages, and regions that are really dearth without having the resources available to be able to take care of those populations. Our students come in. I mean, they're altruistic and they just love and they want to learn. They came in for a lot of reasons, but in particular to serve. And they get to, in part, through some community outreach programs and things like that are set up during their time they're here during their first 2 years. And we have health career ladders. I think when you can inspire youth or inspire young individuals into healthcare that they otherwise didn't have exposure to because of just their upbringing or resources around them, they this is really a way to be able to channel them in through a vertical integrated kind of process where they go from their high school to college to medical school to GME and into the workforce. And that's what I think this is in some way creating is this process and opportunity, especially for those that are underrepresented. I mean, I'm in Pomona, so I'm fortunate to be of Hispanic background. I speak the language and be able to give to the community that way. But there are plenty of patients. So to be able to do that and provide that in the community here within our region, and especially those who live within the region, this partnership in this GME partnership will help do that. So our students, as I mentioned earlier, in their third year, they get to do clinical rotations at sites. And we have tracks and we have built them up so that one also don't have to travel so much for cost reasons. But this would be an opportunity where we would have our students rotate through this area and be able to say, is this where they want to do their training, and be able to get a sense of what's offered there and what works for them. As similarly on the program director side or the hospital organizational side, so that they find that all these students are smart, they know stuff, but it's really, is this a match in the sense of a fit, cultural fit for what the needs are, and for both the applicant, the student, and also the community.
Right. Thank you. John, please share some statistics related to primary care physicians and the current need to serve our region.
Oh, I named a few, but I'll keep going. So 86 primary care physicians needed here. And as Dr. Warren said, that's internal medicine and that's family medicine and that's geriatrics. Just in the Western end, I haven't even touched the state of California, where it's estimated over several hundred will be needed in the next 3 to 5 years. So programs where medical students could take more students, it requires them to have placements at hospitals, right? To grow their own programs. We definitely want to be part of that. The other component is giving them the resources they need too, right, Dr. Warren? I mean, everybody has a comorbidity of behavioral health now, especially after COVID. So at least in our clinics, and Dr. Warren and I will talk more about how the residency clinics look, but we plan to incorporate behavioral health specialists for handoffs, whether it be in the residency clinic or one of our Care for You family medicine clinics. So yes, between nurses, physicians, and other community or clinical care teams, any statistic you'll read is the great resignation after COVID really impacted healthcare in the U.S. and specifically in our region.
Well, Dr. Warren, please talk about the perspective of students as it relates to staying local and laying down roots in the community they are from. Does the current positive regional economic landscape assist with the decision to stay in the region?
I mean, yeah, I think often. So one of my other arms that I've just had to hand off in my transition to dean was being a career advisor mentor for students. And often in their second year, third year, they're really in this mindset of, okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to be when I grow up? What type of physician am I going to be? And in it too, as they're in the process of the application, is also I want to stay near home, and it for a lot of reasons. I mean, being a healthcare provider is a lot of work. It's stressful. And with it, they're also at at a stage in their life where they want, they may need the support system of their families and their friends. And we talked about this earlier, just multi-generational homes. It's expensive, so in that they may have the support systems, within their region that can be able to provide that. So it's a differentiator at times for ranking or just making decisions on where to go to medical school, as well as where they're going to do their training. And that's is this close to home? Now others are willing to travel and be elsewhere, and that's great. I was one of those, but came right back as soon as I had my children to be near grandparents and such, because those were important values. In addition to it's the community that they want to represent.
Right. So I'm going to send the question to you as well, John. Please share a bit about the economic landscape of the region and how that contributes to recruiting and preserving our local talent.
Yeah, I think we've had a number of events recently talking about the Inland Empire's economic strategy and where we fall low on. And one's healthcare, right? Obviously, when you take a look at our community, we look at the Latinx community is large here. It's continuing to grow, right, by 7 or 8% almost every year. As Dr. Warren said, the population's aging, and that's why we started a center of aging at San Antonio Regional. But we have noticed that those that typically make a higher income aren't staying in the Inland Empire. And that matches directly with the dearth of providers. Why are they leaving? And I think it's because we're not having the mentors and coaches and places that are doing residency to provide them stability. What I'm really excited for is when these residents go through San Antonio, it's not just my Care for You primary care physicians they're going to be working with. They're going to be working with probably 14 different medical groups in the region. Each of those leaders of those medical groups, you bet they're going to make friends, get to know these residents, and I'm a true believer, will help convince many of them to stay in our region. So I'm looking for this as a win-win. This is a long-term investment, not just an investment for a short-term residency.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And it's so exciting to see it implemented because this is the first of its kind in the 117-year history for San Antonio Regional Hospital.
Yeah, and we're lucky. We do have the largest market growth here at San Antonio. The only one who has more patients is Kaiser, but that's not fair. They're Kaiser. So we know we're doing a great job in the Inland Empire. We're 4-star Medicare and Medicaid on the CMS way of how seniors choose hospitals. And I'll tell you, when they hear that there's academics also involved, they know if you're a training site and a teaching site, you definitely know what you're doing, regardless if the 4-star says we're good already. So we're looking. There's just so many wins to having a residency program, and we're biting at the bit to get our first group in here, hopefully in 2025.
That is so exciting. So, Dr. Warren, please talk about when the first cohort will join San Antonio Regional Hospital.
I think 2025.
Yes.
It's a process. So, there's accreditation. Residency training isn't just, picking people and then start their first day. It's a cycle. Training cycles are academic years. So our academic year, GME academic years are July 1st to June 30th. So there's a process in which the program goes through accreditation and certified, and then you can go ahead and start recruiting. So that's the phase that we're in, and the hope is to get through all of that and be able to recruit in the fall for a cohort in 2025.
Perfect. So then it's been confirmed. Both sides are on the same page. I love it. There's no turning back.
No, but
Okay.
as Dr. Warren said, we've got to jump through a few regulatory hoops. They always could delay us. But we're pretty good at hitting our timetable. So I'm hopeful we'll see that first cohort in 2025. And then I think we move up to, when it's mature, I think we're up to 36 or 40 residents at a time. So looking forward to that.
Beautiful. Okay, we're coming up on a break, everybody. Yvette Walker with ABC News and Talk, Southern California Business Report, here today with Dr. Lisa Warren, Dean of Western University of Health Sciences, and John Chapman, CEO and President of San Antonio Regional Hospital, as they discuss a recent innovative partnership to develop a residency program aimed at addressing the region's growing need for healthcare providers, the first ever in the hospital's 117-year history, when we return.
Ontario International Airport is onto a better way to fly with over 65 daily nonstop flights to more than 20 major destinations and the easiest airport experience in Southern California. Visit flyonto.com/Ontario to learn more about Ontario International Airport today.
We are the Empire Strikers, the professional sports team of the Inland Empire. We are a fast-actioned and community-inspired pro indoor soccer team. Our mission is to inspire the Empire. Home games, community events, watch parties, and youth camps are all back. Professional indoor soccer is back. Join us and come watch the greatest show on turf at Toyota Arena or on Twitch. Visit www.theempirestrikers.com for more and any information.
Hi, I'm San Bernardino County Sheriff Shannon Dykes. If you're looking to start an exciting career in law enforcement and make a difference in your community, we are hiring dispatchers, nurses, deputies, laterals, and many more. For a complete list of our jobs and more information, visit sheriffsjobs.com.
The University of La Verne is rated first in California for alumni satisfaction. Learn more about accelerated programs offered online and on campus in La Verne, Irvine, Ontario, Burbank, or College of the Canyons. Visit go.laverne.edu. The University of La Verne. go.laverne.edu.
Hi, I'm Dana Rademacher with MGR Property Management.
A lot of people wonder about the value that property management has for their property. Property management can include all property types, including residential, commercial, and HOA. It is valuable because property managers are experienced in what can happen at your property. We're aware of liabilities. We're able to do predictive and preventative maintenance. We know what is coming up with the changes in the weather, the seasons, how old certain aspects or different capital projects at your property are. We're able to best negotiate contract pricing, legalities with your tenants, and anything else that you may need to ensure that you're getting the full value of your property.
If you're interested in speaking with the representative at MGR Property Management regarding your property management needs, you can visit our website at mgrrealestate.com, or you can call our number at area code 909-581-6600 to be connected with the representative.
Cal State San Bernardino is home to the only school of entrepreneurship in California. With globally ranked degree programs, you can start your journey today to become a successful entrepreneur. Learn more and connect at entre.csusb.edu.
Welcome back, everyone. Yvette Walker with ABC News and Talk, Southern California Business Report, here today with Dr. Lisa Warren, Dean of Western University of Health Sciences, and John Chapman, CEO and President of San Antonio Regional Hospital, as they discuss a recent innovative partnership to develop a residency program aimed at addressing the region's growing need for healthcare providers, the first ever in the hospital's 117-year history. Thank you both for being with us today.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's pick up the conversation. We ended up with agreeing that the first cohort will join in 2025. So with that, John, please talk about what the residency program will look like at San Antonio Regional Hospital.
Probably chaos the first month or two. Actually, no. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. So when you think of regulatory, and Lisa, feel free to jump in too. We have to have specific sleep rooms for these residents. We have to have specific classrooms. We have to have specific clinics for these residents, let alone choosing faculty who are going to participate in the teaching and mentoring. And I probably did that in reverse order, but the teaching and mentoring and choosing of faculty is going on now, right? And then I think in June, Dr. Warren, we have a field group coming in here to take a look at our facilities and talk to us to make sure we're heading in the right direction. And our overall goal is to have residents for both internal medicine and family medicine, and then some subspecialties that we're still working on. So it's actually going to be a phased approach. We're starting with internal medicine, but then by the second year, we'll start delving into the family medicine side too. Did I say that correctly, Dr. Warren?
Yeah, it is a process. So there's nothing, you got to have the core faculty. I mean, just with anything like we do at the medical school side, our faculty is the backbone towards the training. Well, patients are too. But in it, you have that, you have the curriculum. So there's doing patient care, they track numbers. There's lectures, some scholarly, so research components, to learn, journal clubs. So there's this very enriching, collaborative learning type of environment. And that's what the accreditation is really looking at. Is this a teaching environment? Are they providing all the resources for mentorship? Are they getting the patient and procedural experiences that they need to be very technically compassionate internal medicine physicians. So that's what the site visit is for June, is to explore all that and ensure that all those things are evolving and in place so that the cohort of trainees are ready to go July 1.
They are a definite help event directly for patient care. I don't want people to get scared. Oh, they're new doctors. No, okay. They're partnered with mentors and coaches who are physicians now in internal medicine and in family medicine. One of the things I could think of that are really going to make a difference is, when your loved one's an inpatient in a hospital, doctors are busy, right? And they're like, when's that physician going to see me? They have some anxiety about that. And that physician does see them and they get out and we have great care here. But I remember being in residency programs at the University of California, San Francisco, and at Highland Hospital in Oakland. I used to get a ton of compliments that, boy, that physician's in here 5 or 6 times a day checking on me. They're talking about the resident, not the actual physician. So having that additional layer of caregivers is going to be fantastic for our patients.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Dr. Warren, please talk about what students can expect at Western University School of Sciences if they choose to pursue a career in medicine.
Yeah, so it's always fun to get prospective students coming on campus. It's always to hear their story and what really drove them to be interested in pursuing medicine to begin with. So when they matriculate, and I would say this is all very similar on the graduate medical education side too, but in also some ways very different. But they're in a curriculum that is for all the students, and they follow along this curriculum. So as I mentioned, in their first 2 years, they are learning all the medical knowledge and the technical skills to be excellent osteopathic physicians. And through our simulation and through our clinical skills lab, they're learning all the technical skills and our osteopathic techniques to be able to have that foundational philosophy of osteopathic medicine, but also the hands-on techniques. And because one of the things as osteopaths, the foundational philosophy is that our body is inherent in its healing process, and structure and function are hand in hand, and our body is a unit. And there are ways that we are training our students is to think very holistically, as well as using their hands, the touch to be able to really make a difference in improving a patient's ailment, lives, on top of all the other medical knowledge and skills and training that they gain. So they get that, but it's also a community. This is a place where we spend a lot of effort, and and one of my charges as dean this year is really to include more wellness, preventative medicine, and really incorporate that into our curriculum so that it's just foundational. We spend a lot on sick care, but we want our patients to be healthy. And in that includes a lens of not only healthy for our patients, but healthy for ourselves as healthcare providers so that we have this longevity within our careers.
I love it.
And then they get paired up with mentors. They have faculty advisors that help guide them through the curriculum for curricular support, but also for, like I had mentioned about my own personal thing, is through career advising, leaning them through, what fits them, where do they fit in the healthcare landscape as a student and as healthcare provider? Do they want to be an internist? Do they want to be a surgeon? What are those pros and cons, and where to look, and kind of go through the process of applying and then eventually placing into those programs.
So, John, please share some insight into the range of professions that can be considered by those interested in pursuing a career in healthcare. Maybe some career pathways in the healthcare field that are not necessarily based in medicine, but are very important to the medical field.
Oh, do you have an hour? I can keep going. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, almost every undergraduate degree can touch healthcare. You've got accounting or taking care of the financial side of the hospital. You have high school graduates who may need a break from school for a while, and maybe they'll take a front door type of introductory job like registration or EVS, or maybe they'll get a certificate in phlebotomy and become hospital lab technicians. What we do with those individuals is they're doing the work for a year, and then we partner them up with higher level type of classifications and see if they're interested. And if they're interested, then we pay for half their education. We, as an example, at the University of Laverne, they help develop our OR technicians, SPD technicians, CNAs, medical assistants. These are all healthcare related that could be clinical or non-clinical. And they do that for us because they know we'll place them back at San Antonio. So they can take a larger student cohort. This, again, is another workforce pipeline strategy to develop our own. So you name it, come here. Don't say you don't qualify for a position. Our HR team will find a position to develop you, even if you haven't been in healthcare before.
And talk about job security, right? Is there job security in healthcare?
Yeah. Well, if you look at my medical record, there is. And I think you're definitely seeing that, right? Where the advances in health have led to longer lifespans. And, when we talk about the 80-20 rule, it's our seniors who have multiple comorbidities. And that's why we started the Center of Aging in Rancho, that 169,000 square foot building that's going to have geriatrics, primary care, every senior related specialty, falls clinic, dementia clinic, you name it. It's a one-stop shop for our seniors because we know they need that type of level of care and case management. They need to be held by the hand and shepherded through multiple appointments per week. So we're definitely, I think, positioned to do that for our community.
Beautiful. Dr. Warren, you touched on osteopathy, but please talk a little more in depth about the philosophy and the role of osteopathy carried by Western University.
Yeah, I mean, it's the foundation of how we practice. In it, we integrate it throughout the entire 4 years, and there are GME programs, and we'll talk later about the osteopathic recognition within graduate medical education as well. So osteopathy, as I mentioned, the tenets are that the body is a unit, the structure and the function are all tied together, and that we have inherent regulatory mechanisms to be able to heal ourselves. Sometimes it needs to be facilitated through our manipulative techniques, through our hand techniques, but then also with medicine. And what we spend a lot of the curriculum in the first 2 years are teaching these techniques, as well as when we're training our students in our clinical skills and reasoning course, is really delving not just the chief concern of why the patient's there, but really going in quite a bit of depth about the other things that really influence a patient's health and decision: who they live with, where, what's their transportation, what other type of environmental things that may be affecting them, their food, their nutrition, what things may affect their compliance. All these things, the students are really gaining some understanding of how it influences a patient's general health. And in that is a lot of what the curriculum is really, and philosophy is really trying to instill in the students, and as they move into their careers. It makes a big difference. Patients feel heard. They feel connected with their provider. And then the added value of an osteopathic physician, again, as I mentioned, is the touch that we provide with being able to put our hands on the patient and be able to find some means to be able to treat them in a way that may be non-pharmacologic, non-surgical. And it just gives them a sense of sometimes immediate relief for things that for them that may have been ailing them for years. So that's I think one of the beauties of the profession, and something I'm very proud of, that we're able to train our healthcare providers that way.
Perfect.
Yeah, a good question to ask her. Sorry, I'm going to go off topic here. Is because many of the general public might not know the difference between an MD and a DO. They're both physicians, and they're incorporated in almost every university and hospital now. So when we talk about osteopathy, maybe it'd be a good backdrop of maybe Dr. Warren explaining that, yeah, they're equal, different arms of being a provider.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so, John, anyone that's seen, the bus wraps traveling around the city, or watched any of your informational videos on any of your various social media platforms will hear San Antonio Regional Hospital, here for life. Please share what that moniker means to the community.
Yeah, absolutely. I just received a letter from Montclair Hospital saying that they're going to drop their maternity units. You read in Becker's and other healthcare magazines that the first thing that hospitals who are in trouble drop is maternity. Well, we're here for life. We're building a new maternity unit. Our goal is to be there from birth to either your loved one's death. I mean, we want to be there for the gamut. We want to keep them alive as long and happy for their family as we can. And that's why we are investing in maternity. That's why we are investing in primary care. That's why we are investing in palliative care. That's why we're focusing on senior care, besides being fantastic for acute care. This is what we call the gamut of healthcare from birth to death. And that's why our slogan makes sense for us. We're here for the community at any stage of their lives.
It's beautiful. I love that you're building a new maternity ward. Do we have an idea of when the groundbreaking is going to occur?
We're about 2.5 years away, and we're lucky. It's not groundbreaking. We were actually able to take a current building on campus, move certain services to different sites, and gut it, and it's going to be a beautiful maternity unit. It's even going to have a maternity garden for those mothers to send their babies in their arms and have some tranquility there. So we have a lot of exciting things planned for that maternity unit.
Wonderful. So, Dr. Warren, please talk about what the first year of a medical school looks at Western University.
So first year, I think it's literally the reflection of, shoving a bunch of the fire hose kind of analogy, lots of input, lots of information in such a compressed period of time. It is hard. Learning is hard, and learning a lot of new information at high volume is harder, especially with, I think, a cohort of students who are very ambitious and have been in the top of their class for years. That maybe learning just came so easily or intuitively, and yet when they have rapid volume of information, it's quite an adjustment. But they do, and I think that's one important thing about Western University is that it's a very collaborative environment. The student body, it's just very encouraged to support each other. This is how medicine needs to work. Collaboration, communication. They're put in teams together for anatomy. And, they get to dissect and learn about anatomy, through that. They are put into interprofessional teams. So students do projects during their first 2 years with the other health disciplines to just understand, what does the nursing do? What does the PA do? What does the dentistry do? How does it fit in the model of this patient care scenario? And what do we do? And have conversations, just learn. And then they have small groups together. We have a curriculum in the first 2 years that is related to diversity, equity, and inclusion, and really trying to understand how that all plays into how we communicate with each other, with our patients, and all of that is also just the general medical knowledge and skills and training that they have. So it is a lot. And so there's a lot of studying, a lot of hands-on, lots of exams. But again, it's really trying to provide a supportive educational environment, knowing that they have the advisors there, they have each other's there, they're linked with companions. So if you're first year, you're linked with a second year to just help you to have that relationship of going, you'll make it through. I made it through last year. We have leads, so a lot with test taking services to help support them. So we try to do as much wraparound as we can to really just nurture them through a process of education that it's just a lot. And then that way, and also just to ensure that they're going to be ready and prepared for when they go on to their clinical rotations in their third year.
I'm shaking my head, Yvette, only because, as you know, my daughter's in her second year now. I won't say what school because she'll shoot me for saying it on air. But she goes, Dad, it's like 30 units a semester. Like, well, enjoy. Yeah, so I'm glad you have those support groups at Western. That's fantastic.
Wonderful. So, John, what are you most excited about as you look at the future of healthcare with San Antonio Regional Hospital?
Just finally closing the gaps in healthcare for our community. If I could retire one day and say we've made a difference and close those gaps in our community, my job's done. I think that's why people get into healthcare, whether it be a physician or an MA or a nurse or an administrator. If you could show improvement in the health of the community, you've done your work.
Absolutely. And Dr. Warren, what would you say to those exploring the prospect of pursuing a career in medicine and healthcare?
You can do it. You can do it. If you have passion and heart for helping others, I tell that to every individual that I interact and mentor, that you can do it. Some people's paths are very linear, and others, may take a few different roads to get there. But don't give up. There's a lot of opportunity and support. We need all healthcare providers, irrespective of what field within medicine it is. We need people out there to help heal our communities, get our communities healthy, so that we can just enjoy our purpose in our lives.
Thank you both so much for making the time to share this exciting development of this new residency program with Western University School of Sciences and San Antonio Regional Hospital. We're going to be keeping up with these efforts and holding you both to each end of your bargain. We all heard it. 2025 is the new cohort is coming on board. So thank you both so much for your hard work, for your dedication, and for your passion to serve our beautiful region.
Thanks, Yvette. And thanks, Dr. Warren.
Yes, thank you both.
Beautiful. All right. So everybody listening today, don't forget to look for us on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Check us out on scbrtalk.com and download the app. Okay, a couple of events coming up. Young Visionaries Youth Leadership Academy will be hosting its annual awards gala, the 2024 Mayor's Sneaker Ball theme, on Friday, May 17th from 5 to 9 p.m., taking place at Cal State San Bernardino, featuring mayors Aquanetta Warren, Liz Becerra, Helen Tran, and Deborah Robertson. Call 909-723-1695 or email gala@yvyla-ie.org. Sponsorships and tickets are still available. Don't miss my interview with Orange County-born and Nashville-based Corinne Robinson, who is a 22-year-old singer and songwriter who prioritizes authentic storytelling from the heart. As she approaches a new chapter in her life, Corinne looks forward to releasing her first single, Furnace, May 20th. Also, Cedric Campbell has been a member of Rotary since 2017. He has served in many positions, including president of the Rotary Club of Irvine. He has a strong focus on solving issues specific to mental health, suicide prevention, elderly care, supporting veterans, empowering and protecting youth, and growing local businesses. Next week, we will have Randall Lewis, Executive Vice President and Principal of Lewis Management Corp. With over 45 years experience in the real estate industry and a member of the Lewis Group of Companies. Randall oversees the marketing activities for all regions of the organization. His broad areas of expertise include land acquisition, market research, product design, advertising, and sales. You do not want to miss it. We will see you all next week.